They've invested nearly $1.5 billion in civic organizations around the world to help drive a brighter future. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is COMCAST Newsmakers. Joining me now is the manager of multicultural community engagement for the Ford Motor Company Fund, Shawn Wilson. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
What exactly is this fund, and is it sort of the only or the predominant main fundraising arm of Ford Motor Company?
So the Ford Motor Company Fund is really the philanthropic arm of Ford Motor Company. And so what we do is we invest in the community in three main areas: innovation and education, safe driving, and then community development. And I think what sets the Ford Motor Company Fund apart is how we really look to invest in innovative ways. Ways that have a double bottom line or even a triple bottom line at times. A great example of that is this month we're celebrating 2-year anniversary of the Ford Resource and Engagement Center, which was part of a $10 million investment in the Southwest Detroit community. What we did is came in and partnered with the community organizations, took over the Mexican town Mercado, which was sitting empty for about 5 years, renovated it, and then ultimately put out RFP to see what type of programming should occur in that space, and then we fully fund it. And so we fund everything from basic needs to economic growth to quality of life. We really see it as a progression model in the community. As a great example, Gleaners is located inside of the Ford Resource and Engagement Center. Client Choice Pantry is located there.
So you're not actually providing services directly, but you're sort of deciding who are those well-deserving nonprofits that are doing good in the community. We're going to issue grants and to help fund you and help you do what you do. Absolutely.
So we look for organizations that we consider best in class to deliver these services. And last year alone, we provided $1.2 million in grants to these organizations. Organizations like Gleaners, Sarah Metro, LaSed, Living Arts, and the community in return received nearly $3 million in benefits and in services. And so that's a great ROI, not only for Ford Motor Company Fund, but for the community as a whole. It's almost a 3-to-1 ROI.
Well, we hear so much today from law enforcement to the folks, blight busters trying to clean up, especially the city of Detroit. Absolutely. About neighborhood investment. That's where it needs to start, grassroots level. Yet you were doing this. You said this is your 2-year anniversary.
Absolutely.
2 years ago, moving into the neighborhood and really helping the people where they are.
Absolutely, and I think it is spot on to focus on the neighborhoods. And one of the things that we saw at Ford Fund is that as the city is focused on repopulating the city, you have to make sure that they have social services, everything ranging from basic needs, economic growth to quality of life, in order for them to stay. You know, we've also invested in other initiatives like the Detroit Boom City, where we sought an abandoned space on the Detroit east side, which was an abandoned pickle factory. Partnered with a nonprofit called Dashboard Co-op to come in, take over the space, and bring in 12 artists to do installation art in the space. So we had over 2,000 people come through this space in a month's period. And now it looks like that space is going to turn into a permanent art gallery. And the significance of that is that as people are repopulating the city, they need arts and culture to stay in the city and feel like it's home for them.
You're really sort of funding, if you will, entrepreneurship. Absolutely. As well as the nonprofits. And real quick, you have a goal for how much money you raise or you're looking to grant this year?
Yeah, so for Ford Fund, we don't raise dollars. All of our dollars that we invest in the community actually come from Ford Motor Company Fund. So the more cars that are sold, the more we're able to invest in the community.
Buy a Ford car, there you go. All right, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Today's COMCAST Newsmaker was Shawn Wilson, the manager of multicultural community engagement for the Ford Motor Company Fund.